The air crackled with tension. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, as if the very air was holding its breath, waiting for the storm to break. The studio was a battleground, and every participant was armed with their words, ready to strike. The stage lights felt hot, even under the heavy makeup. The bright lights bore down, creating an almost surreal environment where every flaw was magnified, every expression scrutinized. The makeup, meant to mask imperfections, felt like a mask of its own, a barrier between the real and the performed. Amina El-Tahir, a young French-Algerian woman, adjusted her hijab and took a deep breath. She was acutely aware of the significance of this moment, not just for herself, but for countless others who saw her as a beacon of hope and representation. Her hijab, a symbol of her faith and identity, was also a lightning rod for controversy. She was about to go live on national television. The cameras were poised, the crew bustling with last-minute adjustments, and the audience settling into their seats. This was a stage unlike any other, where the stakes were incredibly high, and the impact of her words would reverberate far beyond the studio walls. This wasn't just any talk show. It was a high-profile platform, known for its rigorous debates and influential reach. The show had a reputation for not pulling any punches, and its audience expected nothing less than a fiery exchange of ideas. This was the kind of primetime debate that France was known for: fiery, opinionated, and with the potential to make or break reputations. The topics discussed here often set the tone for national conversations, and tonight's subject was particularly charged. Amina was no stranger to heated discussions about her faith. She had faced countless debates, both public and private, defending her beliefs and choices. But this was different. The scale, the visibility, the pressure, it was all magnified. This was about more than just her. This was about representing an entire community, often misunderstood and misrepresented. The topic? The hijab, a simple piece of cloth that had become a symbol of so much more: identity, freedom, oppression, and resistance. This was about representing an entire community, often misunderstood and misrepresented. The topic, the hijab. Its place in modern French society was a contentious issue, sparking debates about secularism, freedom of expression, and cultural integration, specifically its place in modern French society. The debate was not just about a piece of clothing, but about the values and principles that defined the nation. It was a microcosm of larger issues: identity, belonging, and the clash of cultures. The weight of the moment settled on Amina's shoulders. She felt the eyes of her community, her family, and even her critics on her. The responsibility was immense, and the pressure to articulate her thoughts clearly and powerfully was overwhelming. Millions were watching, many with preconceived notions. Some saw her as a symbol of resistance, others as a threat to their way of life. The audience was a mix of supporters, skeptics, and those simply curious about the unfolding drama. Amina knew she had to choose her words carefully. Every sentence, every pause, every gesture would be analyzed and interpreted. She had to be strategic, thoughtful, and above all, authentic. This was her chance to speak her truth. This was her chance to challenge stereotypes and reclaim the narrative, to show that the hijab was not a symbol of oppression, but of empowerment, to assert her identity and her right to express it freely.
The hijab is not what you think it is. It is not a symbol of subjugation or a relic of the past. It is a part of who I am, a choice I make every day. It is not forced upon me. It is a conscious decision, a reflection of my beliefs and my identity. It is a statement of my independence and my right to choose how I present myself to the world. It is my choice, my identity, my connection to my faith. It is a bridge between my personal beliefs and my public life, a way to stay true to myself in a world that often demands conformity.
The host, a seasoned journalist known for his pointed questions, introduced Amina with a skepticism that bordered on hostility. His reputation for tough interviews was well earned, and tonight, he seemed particularly intent on challenging Amina's views. He dove straight into the controversy, his words laced with thinly veiled accusations. His questions were sharp, designed to provoke and unsettle. He wanted to see if Amina could hold her ground under pressure. Was the hijab a symbol of oppression? His tone suggested he already knew the answer, or at least the answer he wanted to hear. It was a loaded question, one that carried the weight of centuries of debate and misunderstanding. Was it compatible with French values? The question cut to the heart of the matter, the tension between individual freedom and collective identity. It was a question that had no easy answer, and one that Amina had to navigate with care. A hush fell over the studio audience. The tension was palpable, the silence almost deafening. Everyone was waiting to see how Amina would respond, whether she would rise to the challenge or falter under the pressure. All eyes were on Amina. This was her moment. The spotlight was on her, and the world was watching. She took a deep breath, steadied herself, and prepared to speak her truth, knowing that her words could change minds and hearts. Amina met the host's gaze with a calm confidence that belied her young age. Her eyes sparkled with a quiet determination, a reflection of the inner strength that had guided her through countless conversations and debates about her choice to wear the hijab. She spoke with a measured tone, her voice resonating with conviction. Each word was carefully chosen, each sentence a testament to her unwavering belief in her right to express her faith freely. The hijab is not what you think it is. It is not a symbol of oppression or a tool of patriarchal control. It is a profound expression of my identity and my beliefs. It is not forced upon me. I wear it because I choose to, because it represents who I am and what I stand for. It is my choice, my identity, my connection to my faith. It is a daily reminder of my commitment to my values and my spirituality. Her words, simple yet powerful, hung in the air. The studio audience, initially unsure of what to expect, found themselves drawn in by her sincerity and the depth of her conviction. The studio audience, initially hesitant, leaned in. They were captivated by her eloquence and the authenticity of her message. Amina continued, explaining that for her, the hijab was an act of worship, a deeply personal expression of her faith. It was a way to honor her beliefs and to live in accordance with her values. It was a way to connect with God and find empowerment in modesty. In a world that often values appearance over substance, the hijab allowed her to focus on her inner self and her spiritual journey. It was about submitting to a higher purpose, not to the dictates of men. It was a conscious choice to live a life of meaning and purpose, guided by her faith and her principles. Her words resonated with clarity and conviction, challenging the deeply ingrained biases held by many in the studio and at home. She was not just speaking for herself, but for countless women who shared her experience and her perspective. I feel liberated in choosing to cover my hair. It is a powerful statement of my autonomy and my right to define my own identity. It shifts the focus from my physical appearance to my intellect and character. It allows me to be seen for who I am, not just how I look. Amina's explanation transcended the immediate controversy. It was not just about the hijab, but about the broader issues of freedom, identity, and self-expression. It touched upon the universal human desire for agency, for the freedom to define oneself on one's own terms. Her words were a call to respect and understand the choices of others, even when they differ from our own. For Amina, the hijab was a symbol of empowerment, a way to assert her identity and her beliefs in a world that often seeks to define women by their appearance. It was a reminder that true liberation comes from within, from the ability to live in accordance with one's values and convictions. As she spoke, it became clear that her choice was not just about religion, but about reclaiming her narrative and asserting her right to be seen and heard on her own terms. The hijab was a part of her, but it did not define her. It was a symbol of her strength, her faith, and her unwavering commitment to her principles. The audience, both in the studio and at home, was left with a deeper understanding of what the hijab meant to Amina and to many other women like her. It was a powerful reminder that behind every choice is a story, and behind every story is a person with hopes, dreams, and a desire to be understood. Amina's story was a testament to the power of personal choice and the importance of respecting the diverse ways in which people choose to express their identities and their beliefs. It was a call to look beyond the surface and to see the humanity in each other. In the end, Amina's message was one of hope and empowerment. It was a reminder that true freedom comes from within, from the ability to live authentically and to embrace one's identity with pride and confidence. As the segment concluded, the audience was left with a sense of admiration for Amina's courage and a deeper appreciation for the diverse ways in which people choose to live their lives. Her story was a powerful reminder that we are all on a journey of self-discovery, and that the choices we make along the way are a reflection of who we are and what we believe in. Amina then addressed the elephant in the room, the pervasive narrative of the hijab as a tool of oppression. She spoke with a calm yet firm voice, her words cutting through the air like a knife through butter. The room fell silent, all eyes on her, as she began to dismantle the misconceptions that had long plagued the understanding of the hijab.
To see a piece of cloth and equate it with the subjugation of women is to completely misunderstand its significance. The hijab, for many, is a symbol of faith, identity, and empowerment. It is a choice, a deeply personal one, that reflects a woman's relationship with her faith and her sense of self. Oppression lies in denying women the right to choose, the right to express themselves freely, and the right to live their lives according to their own beliefs and values. The right to education is fundamental. It is through education that women can empower themselves, break barriers, and contribute meaningfully to society. The right to their own bodies and voices is equally crucial. Women must have the autonomy to make decisions about their own lives, to speak out against injustices, and to participate fully in the political and social spheres. My hijab does none of those things. It does not silence me. It does not oppress me. Instead, it empowers me. It gives me strength, and it allows me to express my faith and my identity with pride.
Her words were a much-needed challenge to the simplistic and often Orientalist lens through which Muslim women were viewed. The media, in particular, had a tendency to portray Muslim women as oppressed and voiceless, without acknowledging the diversity and agency within the community. Amina refused to be defined by stereotypes. She was determined to show the world that Muslim women were not monolithic, that they were individuals with their own stories, dreams, and aspirations. She was a living testament to the fact that faith and empowerment were not mutually exclusive. Her hijab was not a barrier but a bridge that connected her to her faith and her community, while also allowing her to engage with the wider world.
I know countless Muslim women, doctors who save lives every day, who work tirelessly to provide care and comfort to their patients. Lawyers who fight for justice, who stand up for the rights of the marginalized and the oppressed. Teachers who inspire and educate the next generation, and artists who use their creativity to challenge norms and express their unique perspectives. These women wear the hijab as a badge of honor, a symbol of their faith and their strength. Their achievements are a testament to their resilience and their determination to succeed, despite the challenges they may face. Their contributions to society are invaluable. They are leaders, innovators, and change-makers who are making a difference in their communities and beyond. Their unwavering commitment to both their faith and their freedom is an inspiration to us all. They show us that it is possible to be true to oneself and one's beliefs, while also striving for excellence and making a positive impact on the world. These women are not just breaking stereotypes. They are redefining what it means to be a Muslim woman in today's world. They are proving that faith and empowerment can go hand in hand, and that the hijab is not a symbol of oppression, but a symbol of strength and resilience.
Her message was clear and powerful. The hijab was not a barrier but a platform. It was a way for women to express their faith, their identity, and their strength. It was a choice, a deeply personal one, that should be respected and celebrated. Amina's words resonated with many, challenging them to rethink their assumptions and to see the hijab not as a symbol of oppression, but as a symbol of empowerment and pride.
You don't see it, Amina. You're missing the bigger picture here. It's not as simple as you make it seem. It's about control. It's about the societal norms that dictate what we should and shouldn't do.
For you, maybe, but I choose to wear it. It's not about control for me, but I choose to wear it. It's my decision, my identity. It's a part of who I am, and I feel empowered by it. It's my decision, my identity. It's not something I do because I'm forced to. It's something I do because I want to.
Come on, Amina. You really expect us to believe that? It's hard to believe that there's no external pressure. It's clearly societal pressure, maybe even family pressure. How can you be so sure it's entirely your choice?
The cafeteria buzzed with lunchtime chatter, the clinking of trays and the hum of conversations filling the air. But at one table, the conversation was far from casual. It was intense, filled with passion and differing viewpoints. Across the table, Amina met her gaze, her expression resolute. She was determined to make her point clear. Amina's hand instinctively went to her hijab, a familiar gesture that brought comfort and a sense of self. It was more than just a piece of cloth to her. She knew these conversations, these doubts, all too well. They were a part of her daily life, a constant reminder of the misunderstandings surrounding her choice. The hijab, for many, remained a symbol of oppression, a visible marker of faith often misunderstood. It was a topic that sparked debates and strong opinions, but for Amina, it was a source of empowerment, a deeply personal choice that reflected her faith and values. It was a statement of her identity and her beliefs. The conversation continued, each side presenting their arguments with fervor. It was clear that this was not just a casual debate, but a deeply personal one. Amina listened intently, considering her friend's words. She understood where they were coming from, but she also knew her own truth. She spoke with conviction, her voice steady and strong. "I understand your concerns, but you have to understand that this is my choice. It's not about pressure. It's about my faith and my identity." Her friends listened, some nodding in agreement, others still skeptical. It was a complex issue, one that couldn't be resolved in a single conversation. As the lunch period came to an end, the students began to disperse, heading to their next classes. The conversation had left an impact, lingering in their minds. Amina walked to her next class, her mind still on the conversation. She knew it wouldn't be the last time she'd have to defend her choice, but she was ready. In a school filled with diverse backgrounds and beliefs, these conversations were inevitable. They were a part of growing up, of understanding and respecting each other's choices. And Amina, with her resolute expression and unwavering belief, was ready to face them head-on. Amina had chosen to wear the hijab at a young age. It was a decision that came from a place of deep personal conviction. She remembered the first time she saw her mother wearing it, the grace and dignity it seemed to bestow upon her. Amina was captivated by the beauty and significance of the hijab, and she felt a strong desire to embrace it herself. There was no pressure, no coercion, just a quiet understanding that it felt right. Her mother had always encouraged her to make her own choices, to find her own path. Amina appreciated this freedom, knowing that her decision to wear the hijab was entirely her own. It was a symbol of her faith, a testament to her beliefs, and a reflection of her inner self. She loved the sense of identity it gave her, the feeling of connection to something greater than herself. Wearing the hijab made her feel grounded, as if she were part of a larger tapestry of history and tradition. It was a way for her to honor her heritage and to express her devotion to her faith. The hijab was not just a piece of cloth. It was a part of who she was. This wasn't about societal pressures or familial expectations. It was about her personal relationship with her faith. Amina found solace in her prayers, a sense of peace that came from her spiritual practices. The hijab was a constant reminder of her commitment to her beliefs, a symbol of her dedication to living a life of purpose and meaning. Amina wished others could see this truth, the reality behind the cloth that seemed to invite so much scrutiny. She often felt misunderstood, as if people only saw the hijab and not the person wearing it. She wanted to share her story, to show that the hijab was a choice, a deeply personal decision that brought her joy and fulfillment. She thought of her friend Fatima, a free spirit who wore the hijab with a vibrant confidence that was contagious. Fatima's energy was infectious, and she had a way of making everyone around her feel at ease. She wore her hijab with pride, using it as a canvas to express her creativity and individuality. Fatima's hijabs were always colorful and stylish, reflecting her dynamic personality. Fatima saw it as an extension of her personality, a way to express her individuality within the framework of her faith. She believed that the hijab was not a limitation, but an opportunity to showcase her unique style. Fatima's approach to wearing the hijab was a source of inspiration for Amina, reminding her that faith and self-expression could coexist harmoniously. Then there was Sarah, who chose not to wear the hijab, finding empowerment in her own interpretation of Islam. Sarah's decision was equally valid, a reflection of her personal journey and understanding of her faith. She believed that her spirituality was not defined by her attire, but by her actions and intentions. Sarah's choice was a reminder that there were many ways to live a faithful and meaningful life. These were just two examples of the many diverse experiences of Muslim women, each narrative challenging the monolithic view often projected upon them. Amina knew that the stories of Muslim women were as varied and complex as the women themselves. Each woman had her own unique journey, her own reasons for the choices she made. Amina hoped that by sharing her story, she could contribute to a broader understanding and appreciation of the rich tapestry of Muslim women's lives. The weight of misconceptions, however, was heavy. The hijab often became a lightning rod for prejudice and fear. Amina had felt the sting of those gazes, the whispers that painted her as oppressed or different. The irony was, she felt most free when she donned her hijab. It was a symbol of her faith, yes, but also a testament to her ability to choose. These misconceptions, Amina knew, stemmed from a lack of understanding, a fear of the unknown. The media often portrayed Muslim women in a one-dimensional light, failing to capture the richness and diversity of their experiences. This lack of representation fueled stereotypes and perpetuated harmful narratives. It was exhausting, this constant need to defend and explain a choice so personal. Section 4. The hijab, through different lenses. The hijab, I realized, was a mirror reflecting back the viewer's own biases. It was fascinating to observe how people's reactions to the hijab varied so widely. Some would look with curiosity, others with disdain, and some with admiration. Each reaction told a story, not just about the hijab, but about the person reacting to it. For some, it was a symbol of oppression, a visible reminder of a culture they didn't understand. They saw it as a barrier, a form of control imposed upon women. This perspective often led to heated debates and even protests, as people grappled with their own interpretations of freedom and rights. For others, it sparked curiosity, an opportunity to learn and engage with a different perspective. In classrooms and community centers, discussions about the hijab opened doors to broader conversations about culture, religion, and identity. These dialogues were enriching, fostering mutual respect and understanding. And for me, it was a source of strength, a symbol of my unwavering faith and my right to express it freely. Wearing the hijab was a personal choice, a declaration of my beliefs and values. It gave me confidence, knowing that I was staying true to myself in a world that often pressures us to conform. I wished people could see the hijab through my eyes, to understand the sense of peace and purpose it brought me. It was more than just a piece of cloth. It was a part of my identity, a daily reminder of my connection to my faith and my community. It was a reminder of my values, my commitment to modesty and humility. In a world that often values appearance over substance, the hijab was my way of saying that my worth was not defined by my looks, but by my character and actions. It was a shield against objectification, allowing me to define myself on my own terms. In professional settings, it helped me focus on my work and my contributions, rather than being judged by my appearance. It was empowering to know that I could control how I was perceived. And most importantly, it was a testament to my faith, a constant connection to something bigger than myself. Every time I put on my hijab, I was reminded of my spiritual journey, my commitment to my beliefs, and my place in a larger community of faith. It was a daily act of devotion, a way to keep my faith at the forefront of my life. The hijab also connected me to my heritage, to the generations of women who came before me and wore it with pride. It was a link to my past and a bridge to my future, a way to honor my roots while forging my own path. Through the hijab, I found a sense of inner peace and clarity. It was a daily practice of mindfulness, reminding me to stay grounded and true to my values. It helped me navigate the complexities of life with grace and resilience. Ultimately, the hijab was a multifaceted symbol, rich with personal and cultural significance. It was a part of who I was, a reflection of my journey, and a testament to my strength and faith. I hoped that by sharing my perspective, others could see the beauty and depth of the hijab, and perhaps understand a little more about the world through my eyes. Section 5. Navigating a secular world. Navigating a secular world while openly expressing my faith wasn't always easy. I had encountered my fair share of stares and double takes. There were moments when I felt the weight of judgment, the pressure to conform, but then I would remind myself why I chose this path, and my resolve would solidify. It was about finding that delicate balance, I realized, embracing my Muslim identity while also engaging with the wider world. I refused to let the actions of a few dictate my perception of an entire society.